Hey, get back in your pen. Go on. Come on. Go back through. Get back in there. I don't know if y'all can hear them, but they are really ready to move today. They're not enjoying this spot anymore. They've eaten all the grass down here, everything down here, so they're getting moved in the morning, but they're a little bit antsy. Chickens are having a go at all the manure piles, which is pretty nice. They eat up all the fly larvae in there, and it kind of sterilizes the pasture. It's real nice, and they help break it down. Organic farming, if done correctly and done slowly over time, is just a really good option for getting control of land and getting control of your usage, right? Because all these farmers, they have all this nitrogen usage and diesel power that they can't control that output. That's the problem with that it requires that. But in this case, these guys, this is all controlled because they are grown at their own rate, and it's all natural forage for them, and so we're not having to put a bunch of other stuff into them. It naturally produces a better ecosystem, a better organic soil. We have better grass than our neighbors and stuff around here as we develop it. Now there's parts in here you'll see in our background, there's parts that the grass is still developing that looks like crap, and that's part of the process. It all starts there. You have to start getting that organic matter, getting the bacteria growing in the soil, and that's kind of where we begin. So, but it's not what I want to talk to you guys about today. What I want to talk to you guys about today is this article from Zero Hedge, and if I can get it to pull up, we got a storm rolling in, and that storm, looks like my camera's slipping a little bit too. Hang on. Got a storm rolling in, and it's kind of hurting my internet connection here. But so what Sri Lanka has done, and we forget about Sri Lanka, right? So Sri Lanka, country over in Africa, we forget about them because they're a third world country that we don't really have much to do with. They don't, for practical purposes, we don't deal with them with exporting, importing stuff. You don't see a lot of things that say stamped made in Sri Lanka on it, right? So it's not something that, as Americans and as a Western culture, that it hits us a lot. Oh crap, looks like I might be getting rained on. I gotta hurry. Okay, so Sri Lanka is really cash-strapped right now, and they have halted all fuel sales except for essential services in a desperate attempt to manage a severe fuel shortage. Now, I'll post this, the link to this or I'll post a link to this article in the description below. It doesn't define what the essential services are, but presumably that'd be like fire trucks, police departments, hospitals, but it doesn't say how broad out that gets. So, is a construction service an essential service? It all depends on how they define that essential service, but they're saying essential services. And they're saying that this is going to happen until July 10th, and this is because of the fuel shortages. The reason I bring this to you is not because of what's happening in Sri Lanka. It's because Sri Lanka is a bellwether, right? They're the canary in the coal mine. The canary in the coal mine dies and warns all the coal miners that, hey, I believe it's carbon monoxide that they were worried about. Carbon monoxide down there. And that carbon monoxide is going to kill you if you don't get out of here too, right? So it kills the canary before it kills us. And so they're the canary in the coal mine right now. They're warning us, and we're seeing it happen there. The third world countries are always the canary in the coal mine. Now, that doesn't mean that the same thing is going to happen here. The same way it didn't mean it for the miners. It didn't mean that they were going to die. It meant if they didn't adjust course and make some changes, they were, right? And we deal with the same thing. If we don't adjust course and make some changes, we're going to be dealing with massive fuel shortages, more than we are now. Increased fuel prices because of those fuel shortages, and because of inflation. And you guys have all heard my theory on the 2023 food prices. I think 2023 food prices are going to be astronomical. The reason I think that is because as this year is an indicator of last year's food prices, right? So, or of last year's harvest. Last year's harvest is what we're paying for this year. Last year's harvest is paying for this year with this year's inflation and this year's diesel and logistics prices. Next year, we're going to be paying for it with this year plus next year inflation, diesel prices and logistics prices, as well as the increased harvest prices this year. Those harvest prices have increased because of the diesel fuel shortage, because of the nitrogen and fertilizer issues, and obviously the ammonia issues and the urea issues. Well, they're still getting a little bit here, I guess. So the fertilizer shortage, let me put it plainly. Like I said, I'm not a fertilizer expert, guys. We don't use fertilizer here on the farm, so I don't stay up with how it's made. I just know that as a general rule, they have to have the urea and the nitrogen for it. And that those cause shortages. Urea is the same thing that's in the DEF fluid, causing the current DEF fluid shortage, and that's here to stay. It's going to get worse if China quits trading with us, because pretty much all of our urea comes from China, and as that issue escalates. That's going to be a problem, because as we see that we're on the brink of China going to war and causing the issues there, if they make their invasion, we'll just leave it vaguely at that. If they make their invasion, that is going to cause a reaction from the U.S. and our hands are tied. We can't sanction China because we get too much stuff from them, including our antibiotics. Right? Manolyn has an ear infection right now. She's on antibiotics today. We would not be able to get that without that trade route to China. So there's no way for us to do that unless we're going to start bringing some manufacturing back here, which is what we probably should be doing. And what we should be doing is bringing it back in local controlled companies, right? Not big mega giant companies. We should be locally producing this stuff. We should be having people that have a little bit of money in your local community, that are entrepreneurs, that want to start a business, or that need a loan to be able to go start those businesses, and going and starting great businesses like that. So I wanted to bring this to you guys so that you knew what was going on, because this is the canary in the coal mine. This is what's coming if we don't adjust course and make some changes. And we'll see how we do there. My prediction is that 2023 food prices are going to be high. The fuel prices for the remainder of the year are going to be high, and unless this administration makes some changes, the fuel prices are going to continue to rise until a new administration comes in 2024. I don't think midterm elections will have any bearing on that, because I don't think that they control enough of that. All that is controlled at the presidential administration, right, the executive branch, and so I think that has more bearing on it. But maybe we'll see some reprieve after the 2023 or 2022 elections, the midterm elections. So we will catch y'all later. I really appreciate you guys watching. Tomorrow morning we're going to go into, well, you know what? We'll just leave that as a surprise. So tomorrow morning will be a surprise, because I have a few articles I want to talk about. And then we will see y'all in the live chat on Sunday. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure and like and subscribe if you have not already done so. We'll see y'all tomorrow.